They have never taught us about transgenerational wealth. Say it. Fix your mouth and say it. Transgenerational wealth. You ought to leave more behind you than funeral bills. As I've told them, when I decide to move on anytime between now and the next 40 millennia, they'd better not have any funeral for me. I'll come back and hand them. Bad English, you get the meaning. If I decide to leave anything, just have it burned and ashes sprinkled over the nearest great body of water. Put all that money in the ground. Colored folks love that. Beg, borrow, steal, and lie. Have that big funeral. Like it said, this man that was such a rascal, never treated his wife right, never supported his family. He passed on, and they had this big funeral, and the preacher got up preaching about, oh, what a wonderful man this was. He was a pillar in the community. He was a loving husband and a dedicated father. The widow said to the kid, Bubba, go and look in that coffin, see if that's your daddy in there. We must be at the wrong funeral. But I'm chauvinistic enough to believe that a man has certain responsibilities. And I usually say that if a man will be a man and provide for his wife and family, why, you won't have too much trouble out of her. She'd be glad to call him daddy. Like, hey, daddy, I want a diamond ring, bracelet and everything. Don't push me. I'll forget I'm not at the palace, and I'll go to singing one of those old songs. I was in Dallas at the mall one day, and I heard this hillbilly song, and some of the words were this: all you need is a sugar daddy. Diamond rings and a brand new caddy. All you need is a wealthy man, you see. And if you be my sugar baby, I'll buy you all, and I don't mean maybe. Anyway, a real man accepts and lives up to his responsibility. Let's hear it. A real man accepts and lives up to his responsibility. And if any man, if minority men in particular, want to stop the victimization that's going on by the quote-unquote system, they must take their self-responsibility, and there are a couple of things that they must throw out of the window. You see, self-responsibility will not allow you to operate on blame and excuses. Let me hear you say, blame and excuses must go.
Blame and excuses must go.
The slaves in the cotton field understood this and burst out in the spiritual, it's me, it's me. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not my mother, not my father, not my sister, not my brother, but it's me, oh Lord. But today the sociologists give us so many excuses. Why would some homeboys regularly, it seems, you'll read or hear on the media, ride through the neighborhood, spraying bullets, even killing babies in their cribs? Well, the sociologists say, you really can't expect any better out of him, because his father left home and he caught his mama with an orangutan. And that messed up his mind. Well, his behind ought to be messed up too. You see, that's another thing. We've got to stop giving ourselves excuses. Let's stop excusing lawlessness in our community. Say that. Let's stop excusing lawlessness in our community. Well, in that little backwoods where I was born and raised, nobody would tolerate this kind of nonsense. I believe I told you when I was here before, it bears repeating. And I like to repeat it every once in a while, that when my mother taught school 7 grades in that little one-room school house that was about half as big as this room, one day a young man about 14 years of age decided that he did not want to take discipline from my mother, you know, which was the end of a green switch. And you had to go up and hold out your hand, and you'd better not jerk it back. I'm not the only one that's been around 50 years, I see. And he decided that he was too big, and he didn't want to be embarrassed in front of his peers, and so he walked out. Well, about 30 minutes or so later, the one door, the back door, the front door, I guess both, opened slowly. Slowly, you could hear it creaking. And everybody looked back. And then we looked up, because when we looked up, there was a great big hickory limb moving slowly into the room. And in a few moments, we saw the young man that had walked out backing back in, looking up at that hickory limb. And on the other end of that hickory limb was his daddy, a Baptist deacon. And he backed that boy all the way up to the teacher's desk, my mother's desk, and preached his funeral. Today, they would arrest that man for child abuse. Do you know why? The system would rather